Hello, my name is Flo and I'm really into health and consciousness. And today I am going to share with you the recipe of my ultra amazingly nutritional, incredibly beautiful and medicinal green and red smoothie. About 12 years ago, I started doing this incredible smoothie for my health. At the time, I wasn't really eating any greens and I really didn't like vegetables, and I really knew I had to eat more greens in my life. I came across that book called Green for Life. It was these people who were making these massive amount of smoothies and they were giving them away to people with ailments, and those people were getting better. So I thought, if I'm not going to eat greens, I could at least drink them. So I started experimenting, and my first smoothies were actually really yucky. They were just like kale, water, and banana, and it was really not very palatable. So with time, I refined my smoothie and I added a bunch of different ingredients that are really nutritional. All the superfoods I could find, I put them in that smoothie. So then I Vitamix everything, and all of this is incorporating into my system in a really easy and digestible way. The first ingredient to the green smoothie, and the major ingredient in what is giving us the most powerful energy, are the greens. I am so lucky to live in a house where I have a beautiful garden. My housemate Alswan dedicates most of his time to this incredible garden, and I cannot even start expressing how lucky I am to have this fresh, packed with nutrients and energy greens right out of sight of my door, basically. So today I'm going to start with picking the chard and the kale that will go into the smoothie. I will explain all the nutritional value of each of the ingredients, and I'm going to start by filling up this bowl with different kinds of kale. There's curly kale, Portuguese kale. So I just go and I take different kinds of kale. I also pick some chard. There we go. And I see often people making smoothies with just a handful of greens. Well, I usually make smoothies for like 3 or 4 days. I make 2 or 3 big mason jars of it. So there is going to be a lot of greens in it. So here we are. You can follow me around. Look at this beautiful, beautiful greens. They are so big because they've been raised they've been grown without chemicals, without pesticides. Everything is organic in this garden. The soil has been prepared by Alswan with the compost. We have the compost over there right next to our green vegetable garden, and that really guarantees that our food is impeccable, hopefully. So I'm taking a lot of the greens now. I'm putting them in there, a whole salad bowl. Sometimes I add parsley or cilantro or basil, but today we're just going to keep it simple with some 3 different kinds of kale and the chard, which have so many nutritional elements in them. So here we go. We have a full salad bowl of kale and chard. Any kind of other salad you want to add. Here we go. Wonderful. And now we are going to add those as well as the other ingredients to the smoothie. Follow me. So you're wondering, why make a smoothie? What is the advantage over just eating a salad? Well, a smoothie gives me more clean burning energy throughout the day. Also, certain foods are more readily absorbable by blending them than simply chewing them. Blending allows to break down the cells of the food, seed, nuts, greens by 95%, whereas chewing only breaks down those walls by 40%. For me, drinking a smoothie in the morning is like committing to my well-being. For that, I have to use something to blend all those ingredients, and my instrument of choice is the Vitamix. I've been using a Vitamix for several years, and it really blends everything really well into a super smooth texture smoothie, and I end up consuming more fruits and vegetables thanks to my Vitamix than I would otherwise. So it's a very powerful machine, hasn't broken down in several years, it works really well. I'm not paid anything to recommend it. I'm just saying this is what really works for me. For me, for example, the Nutri-Bullet is too small. I can't put enough stuff in it. So the Vitamix is really the right size also for my smoothie. I wanted to start by talking a little bit more about the nutritious aspect of the kale and the chard. The kale really helps boost well-being and prevent a lot of health problems. Kale contains fiber, antioxidant, calcium, vitamin K, among others, and also a lot of chlorophyll, which has a lot of health benefits and which is really good for the blood. Kale is also a really good source of vitamin C. Chard helps regulate the level of blood sugar. It also has some anti-cancerous properties. It's really good for digestion. It boosts the immune system, reduces fever, and combats inflammation. It also helps lower blood pressure, prevents heart diseases, increases bone strength, detoxifies the body, and strengthens the function of the brain. So those two elements have so much nutritional power. You can just feel it. I always start with putting my base inside of the Vitamix, and my base is tasteless and sugarless. It's aloe vera juice. Aloe vera has a lot of health property. One of the main one is really good for digestion. It's really good for the lining of the stomach. So I just put a bunch of aloe vera juice. I usually put the liquids first so that it blends easier later. Lately, I've been adding some pineapple juice as well as some pineapple itself. I will explain to you in a minute what that does. So you can just use a little bit of pineapple juice too, or some organic orange juice. So that's the base of the smoothie. Powders are very potent. Sometimes some of the fruit or vegetable can be picked a week before they are eaten and have absolutely no more nutritional value if they sat on the shelf for a long time. So when the powder is just freeze-dried and then harvested and then freeze-dried, the nutritional value is still there. So here you go for ashwagandha. Put like a spoonful of it in the smoothie. The next one that I want to incorporate is Moringa. Moringa is a very big superfood, nutrient-packed, iron, calcium, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin E, magnesium. It's a super source of plant-based protein, balances hormones, protects the liver, fights free radicals, inflammation, and the brain. Here is Moringa. Reishi mushroom. We're getting to the mushrooms here. Mushrooms have a lot of anti-aging, anti-cancer, detox, and improving the brain function qualities. Reishi mushroom is anti-inflammatory, helps with breathing, helps lower the blood pressure, boost energy, and is good for the immune system. I just put a little bit of it. Here we go for the reishi mushroom. I also use lion mane's mushroom, which also improves cognitive function, nerve regeneration, combats depression, boosts the immune system, is anti-cancer, decreases inflammation. Here's lion mane's mushroom. I just put a little bit of that in there too. And finally, for the mushroom family, you can probably add more like cordyceps, or I've been choosing bacopa, which is an Ayurvedic mushroom, and that also helps with the brain function. Bacopa, organic Brahmi powder. So those were the mushrooms. The next superfood that I'm adding to this smoothie is ginger powder. Here it is. Ginger helps with morning sickness, reduces pain and muscle soreness, is an anti-inflammatory, lowers the blood sugar levels, and also improves the brain function. Here is for ginger, also bought in bulk online. My next ingredient is kelp powder. It has some anti-cancer property, helps with bone density. It's a good source of protein and it boosts the immune system. Here is some kelp powder. Now another big ingredient with this smoothie, one of the key ingredients is Irish moss. It's a cold water seaweed. It's been used for centuries. It's a digestive aid. It's one of the highest source of collagen in the world. It's a great source of omega-3. So I buy it to dry and then I wash it for about 24 hours. I leave it in water, wash it several times, and just keep it in the fridge. It is a blood builder. It's great for joint health. It's got a lot of antibacterial and viral property. Irish sea moss is really a superfood. Looks like this after it's been washed. It doesn't really smell anymore. It has no smell. It's like gelatin basically. So I just take a nice bunch and I just put it in the smoothie like that, and then I just close back my little container and put it back in the fridge. Irish moss can be also purchased as bulk online. Another superfood that I love and that you can find very easily is cacao. I don't have to praise cacao anymore. I'm sure you know how it's has some property where it improves the mood, it makes the skin glow, it combats aging, and it's an anti-fatigue, improves the digestion, and it's also good for the brain. So here is for more raw cacao in the smoothie. The next ingredient that I love is MSM powder. MSM powder, it's like an organic sulfur compound that we don't produce, and it's anti-inflammatory, it decreases joint pain, and it improves the immune function. So I buy it as a powder and I also add it to the smoothie. You probably all know about echinacea, which has it's a great booster for the immune system. I just put a little bit of it, echinacea, also as a powder, bulk. And I'm going to add a little bit of bee pollen, which is also a wonderful addition for the immune system. Here's a little bit of bee pollen. Go, all these wonderful ingredients. Now, I love adding a full or half an avocado to the smoothie. It's avocado is incredibly nutritious, has tons of vitamins, tons of protein, loaded with really good fats. It has more potassium than banana. It's loaded with fiber. Just open it up and just put it in the smoothie without the skin. So here's for the avocado. What else do we have here? We have bamboo. Bamboo has a really high content of silica, and silica is used for the joints, for the skin, for the nails, for the hair. So here is to a good source of silica, raw bamboo. Voila. And finally, something that has so many good properties, aloe vera. I just cut it in the garden, and I actually put the whole thing in there. I put it with the skin. The skin has a lot of good nutritional value too. So here's for some aloe in the smoothie, fresh from the garden, lots of anti-cancer property. Aloe vera is an incredible ingredient too. Now we're going to go on to the different kinds of potassium. Most Americans are deficient in magnesium. Sorry, magnesium, not potassium. So I researched magnesium and I found out there are 7 different types of magnesium. One of them is Epsom salt. And I narrowed it down to the 4 that I thought were the best. Magnesium malate, magnesium glycinate, magnesium chloride, and magnesium threonate, L-threonate. This one is for the brain. This one is for more energy and for supporting the joints. This one is to promote sleep and better bones. And this one is very, very good for the muscles and nervous system. So I put a little bit of all this in the smoothie too. A little bit of each, not very much, like half a teaspoon. You have to keep in mind magnesium is a laxative, so you don't want to take too much because you would be running to the bathroom. Just put a little bit of it. Each of the magnesium. There we go. And to finish it off, I'm going to put a little bit of fish oil, which is great for the brain, omega-3. Just buy it as a bottle like this. And the final ingredients to the smoothie, something I find really, really important, is blueberries. Blueberries are one of the most nutrient-packed berries. It's the king of the antioxidant. It helps against aging, against cancer, improves the brain function, and helps prevent heart diseases. I get the boreal blueberry wild from Trader Joe's because I feel that they probably don't have as much pesticides and crap on them if they're just harvested way up north. And I just put them in like this. Sometimes if I don't have any blueberries, I put half a pack usually. I use acai packs. Acai is really good, also has a lot of antioxidants, wonderful fruit, very low in sugar. And to complete the whole game, I add the nuts and the seeds. Pumpkin seeds, which have a lot of protein, raw sunflower seeds, raw pecan, and raw walnuts. I just add a handful of each to the smoothie. Walnuts have lots of antioxidant. It's a super good plant source of omega-3. It's really healthy for the gut. The seeds are also really, really good for you. Different kinds of seeds are wonderful. Some pumpkin and some pecan that's in there. All those can be bought at Trader Joe's. They're pretty inexpensive and easy to use. So you can also use almonds. I usually don't really use cashews because I don't think cashews have a lot of nutritional value, but I use those seeds and nuts because they do have a lot of nutritional values. Finally, for the brain and as a healthy fat, coconut flakes, and to top it all off, pineapple. I added pineapple. Is the only fruit I add that has sugar because pineapple helps digest protein. Pineapple has a very, very powerful enzyme in it that helps digest. So I add a bunch of pineapple and it makes the smoothie way more palatable. This smoothie, remember, is medicinal. It's not automatically going to taste good, but it's basically a meal in itself. So I hope that I gave you enough information about all this. These are all the ingredients. I will be putting more descriptions in the comment section and description section of the video. And now we are going to go into the kitchen to blend all this. So now we are in the kitchen for the last stage of our smoothie making. We have this big bowl of greens, and the way I start usually is I use flaxseed oil. Today I don't have flaxseed oil, so I use MCT oil, which is a fractionated kind of coconut oil, which crosses the blood-brain barrier. And I usually massage the kale and the chard with some oil. So when I don't have MCT, I use flaxseed oil, which is also really good for the brain. And what I do is I put a little bit of oil on this, and then I massage them really good so that they start opening up, their cell walls start cracking open, and it starts cooking also a little bit, because that's more digestible than just the raw greens. So I do that for a while, I massage it, ding, 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 and then I just leave it for a minute. And there we have all our ingredients that we put in this smoothie. It's already pretty full, as you can tell. Like I said before, I do my smoothies for like 3 or 4 days, so I make a couple of mason jars of the smoothie. So we are going to start with blending what we have here, and then I will be mixing the greens. So hop, everything is in the Vitamix. We just have to turn it on. It's a very simple thing. We just close it and have this, and boom. It always starts really slow. There we go. So what happens is, because my Vitamix is already so full, I have several mason jars here. So I will just start pouring this wonderful concoction onto half of the mason jar, then I'll just keep half of it, and I will start mixing my greens in it. So here is a big freaking chunk of greens, woohoo! And maybe I will add a little bit of apple juice to make it a little bit more fluid. Here we go. Here's for the first batch of this wonderful nutritional greens. Go a little bit more. We have 2 big batches of greens. Sometimes I do even more than that, and this usually lasts me 2 to 3 days. So here is the end of the greens. So then I just mix it up with what we had already. Sometimes some of the green just stays. I'll just mix it up here, and then I'll just mix it up there. I put some of it in here, and then I just blend everything back in. I put back some, so I just reblend it until the red and the green are all really nicely blended, basically. Till you get, I might add a little bit of aloe vera to make it a little bit smoother. Juice, aloe vera juice right here. Voila. And then we're gonna blend it one more time. Here we go. It's way more smooth now. And then you just pour it into those 2 mason jars, not all the way because it thickens sometimes with the Irish moss, and I want to add a little water later. Voila, so I have 2 mason jars of this delicious concoction. Actually, it's really not about the taste. So one last little advice: if it's difficult for you to drink bitter things, this is not a sweet smoothie. The point of this smoothie is to actually eat things without any sugar or carbohydrates in it. So this smoothie is actually fairly bitter and sometimes not very palatable. So the way I drink it, because I don't really like bitter things myself, is I will start with a little juice, like pineapple juice, for example, and I will, sorry about that, So I'll have a little, my smoothie in there. Voila. And then I will have some pineapple juice, sorry. And I will just take a little bit of pineapple juice in my mouth. And on top of it, you see, I get a beautiful mustache. So, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you will also start to make wonderful green smoothies. You might use way less ingredients, it's up to you. I just wanted to share with you all the ingredients that I'm using. And this basically helps me to eat raw half the time, to have all the greens I need, and to stay really healthy. And my digestive system also, it's an incredible thing for bowel movements, going to the bathroom, and stay healthy and happy. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.